Okay, this is intended to be a recording of the first of a series of demos of features that may or may not end up being used as bells and whistles in the mastermind projects for this semester. My disclaimer is my mind is not clear. The toxic mix of allergy drugs and melatonin, I blame all errors in this video on them. There, now I'm taking care of it. Somewhere I have a shrunken screen. This is it? Yeah, I can barely see that. Oddly, to me at least, no one mentioned confetti at all. Maybe it's that you didn't know the word. But there were several projects 2 years ago that had confetti. And I don't know that they talked about how they did it or whatever. But it is a thing. It's sort of like a built-in animation capability for Xcode stuff. So I thought, well, then that'll be my demo. How do I even start? Well, I had a project, the before project. Let me click on that. The before project is actually a copy of my own mastermind project, increment 17 maybe. Who knows? Let me see what it does. I think it's one that's very near completion. But it does not have confetti. Yes, I should have done all this before class. Okay, you've seen this before. This is kind of the bare bones, basic version before we start adding extravagant stuff. Oh, and one thing, I think this even predates the test mode. So yeah, I have to play a game every time. I'll get going with the confetti, and then I'll insert a test mode so that we don't have to play the full game every time. But that's where this stands right now. And take my word for it, no matter what happens, win, lose, draw, there is no confetti at this point. So that's my before version, and you've got to stop me with questions whenever you have questions. Can I make any of this bigger? Probably not. Okay, so I've heard on the street via a little birdie that it's possible to fairly simply add confetti into an iOS, iPhone, or iPad project. Let me ask almighty Google, who doesn't reside in Photos but in Safari. What say you, Google? What about Swift UI confetti? Of course, that's a reasonable starting place. And here's the AI overview. Look at this. Creating confetti effects in Swift UI. Oh, by the way, anything you see covered in class by me or any of your distinguished colleagues that are working on projects, any process or sequence or feature that you see that interests you, even if it is not one of your official bells and whistles, if you want to use it in your project, then yes, it is allowed. So if everybody has confetti after today, that's fine. The recommended approach, and it gives you step-by-step, look at this, steps to implement the confetti Swift UI package. Add the package, whoops, I was trying to move you. Add the package dependency in Xcode. Let me get to, first of all, let me get to the proper version. This is the before version. Well, actually, I will start with the before version. I'll duplicate it. Manual transmission in GitHub. Before copy, rename, so that I don't trash. Why do I have a before and after already? Well, I started with the before. I wanted to see whether or not I could get any little confetti effect to work at all. And I butchered the before into the after just to test it. That's something that was done outside of class, and the after is not for public consumption here during the demo. what's for public consumption is, these are the steps as I remember them that I took. So let's do during. And that's exactly the same thing as the before, which I should have closed. This is your brain. This is your brain on melatonin and Allegra. Where was I? Oh, I was here, and I've got Xcode open, and we'll assume that since this was just now a duplicate copy of the before, that it does exactly the same thing as the before picture. What? Add dependencies. Go to File, Swift Packages, Add Package Dependency, and paste the repository URL. Well, that seems simple enough. Highlight, and it's from GitHub. Look at that. Copy. Help me remember. File. Add, right here, add package dependencies. Right click. La Poste. I didn't even have press enter, but I pressed enter anyway. And look at this. Examples, installation, manually, requirements, usage. I might read some of that, but that print is so tiny that I'm going to come back to this if I need to later. But I am officially adding Confetti Swift UI to this project. And there it is, project dependency down here. That seemed fairly simple. Easy for me to say. Import. Add import Confetti Swift UI to your Swift UI file. So you have to decide which file is going to have confetti associated with it. That wasn't really clear to me when I read through this before, but almost everything is going to happen in the view, not the view model. Here's the view. Content view is the top level view thing. So look how old this is. And look how much better I was at documentation back then. Animation for a win. So in addition to Swift UI, I'm going to try to be a good example. Today is 16th of March. And the only reason I remember that is because it's my older brother's birthday. And what does it say? Import Confetti Swift UI. Done. Step 2, done and done. Define a trigger state variable. In your view struct, define an integer at state variable to trigger the animation. Ah, yes. I remember being confused and thinking, do I know what that is? Do I know what an at state is, or an at state variable is? And I don't think I did. So I'm going to do, as an aside here, and those are allowed, SWI, FT, UI, at state. Because I would really prefer to know a little bit what I'm trying to do and what I'm using, whether it makes any sense or not. And if we read through explanations like this and they don't make any sense, then we go back and hope that we can do it without actually understanding it. Please get bigger, please get bigger. Control, Shift, Command, plus. Yes. The at state property wrapper in Swift UI is used to manage mutable local data within a view, allowing the UI to update automatically when the value changes. It is the foundations of Swift reactive approach to state management. And based on my limited understanding and expertise in Swift UI and Swift, what that seems to be is sort of like making a very focused exception to the view always reflecting just what's shown in the model. In other words, we're not going all the way down through the view model back to the model for this one. We're going to stay right here and look at this variable and decide what we're going to do about it based on the value of this particular variable here. And these key concepts, I've seen these all over the web. At-state declares a property is a single source of truth for a specific piece of data that's owned by the view where it's defined. So this is like a little local variable inside a view, inside a structure, that we can change. And we don't even have to declare it to be mutable or anything, apparently, at state. We can just change it at our leisure. But I do remember seeing elsewhere, when I followed up on this, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with just the at state property, maybe this is, no, not that best practice. Here it is. Designed for simple types like string, int, bool, and so forth. Don't come up with elaborate structures or enums or whatever and make those state variables. That's too much. If you're going to do that, then go ahead and make those regular structures and then just have mutable properties, mutable mutating functions and so forth inside there. So this, like I said, this is a very focused, narrow exception. And it turns out, I believe, let me see if I can pull that trick here. Shift Command plus. Yes. 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 Define a trigger state variable. Okay, here's the at state variable. I'm just going to save typing, copy that, copy, and go back to Xcode, which I cannot see. Since I've imported it here, in the content view, I've already got some at state. Well, apparently I had to use at state with animation. But that was 3 years ago, and I don't remember doing that at all. So now I can Command V, and this one, that's a very generic name. So I'm going to call it, I'll leave counter in case that actually is a counter, confetti counter. So far, I am just cookbooking what's going on over here without really thinking terribly much about what all of it means and what are the implications of it and everything. At state apparently just means that I'm making an exceptional variable that can change within a structure. And step 4, add the modifier. Attach the dot confetti canon. We remember what modifiers are. A view modifier is one of those dot functions that you put at the end of a struct, or most typically for us, a view. And it just modifies the entire view and brings it back. And there's that weird mechanism in the background. Every time you put an additional modifier, it takes what it had as the view, the view already, passes that whole thing to your modifier function, and then replaces it with the return value of whatever the modifier did. Var body sum view button. Well, I don't want to start adding new elements to my view. So I'm going to try to make confetti associated with something that's already there. Modifier to any view within your hierarchy, binding it to the counter variable. Here I shall take a sneak peek at my notes, because who did I attach that to? Whom did I attach that to? Ah, yes. In case of a winning game, I wanted to confetti some cannon some confetti. It's going to sound like I'm drunk when I listen to this video. And who is this? Who are you? Oh, content view. I'm already there. Where's the winner? Where's the winner? It's the row of buttons down at the bottom, I believe. Bottom row, either menu beats that they get to choose from, or they lost, or they won. So here we are. They won, and all this stuff. And a comment from 2023 on up here. Well, if it worked for animation, maybe it will work for my confetti counter. CONFE, confetti counter. And I could just set it to 2, but I think A more general way to do it, it says incrementing the counter triggers the animation. So if I set it to 2 and I decide I want to use that confetti counter several places, then setting it to 2 is not going to change it. This is me trying to be logical using fundamental principles that I don't fully understand. But this seems like that's a better idea, incrementing it by 1 each time. Then that way, if it's just monitoring the way it would typically monitor variables over in the model, if it's just monitoring this variable to see whether or not it changed, then setting it to 2 over and over is not going to change it, but incrementing it by 1 each time will change it. Does that seem logical to you? You can just nod knowingly whether you agree or not. That's actually bigger than I wanted it to be. So here we are with 1. I just now incremented the confetti counter, and I need to attach a confetti cannon to the winner here, which is this H stack. And yes, this should have been functions to make one of those things or whatever, because matching the curly brackets alone is such a nightmare. This is the end of the overlay. No, that's the end of the, yes, the end of the overlay. Here's the on up here. I'll attach it to this. Maybe this will do. Dot confetti. Cannon. You got to yell out questions if you have questions. That's not what I wanted. Confetti cannon, counter, and then the counter variable. Does anybody know why they put the $sign there? I'm sorry, no? By reference?
Yeah, it's doing by reference.
Oh, expected expression plus equals 1. Oh dear. Completely lost my place. Oh! You see what I saved you from? This is what the backspace key video was going to be like. It's probably gone on for more than an hour. You're welcome. And I forgot what they called it. Let's say that this video is setting a baseline. Please try to do a demo that's no worse than this one. Dot confetti cannon, and the parameter name is counter. COUNTER. And $, confetti counter. Confetti counter. Missing argument for parameter trigger in call. I vaguely remember that from a couple of days ago when I was doing the trial run. This might be the inspiration for my comment that you can't always take the AI at their word. This is really wanting a variable called trigger, and they refer to it as a trigger. Define a trigger state variable to trigger the animation. So here's a trial and error for a bell and whistle. Why not call it trigger? Works for Roy Rogers. And all the stuff went away. It can't be that easy. Not if it's any good. See if I can win at Mastermind in a brain fog. 2 are in the wrong place. I bet it's the orange ones. No. Yeah, my mind is not clear enough to do this at all. We'll say one of the orange ones was okay, and one of the red ones is okay but out of place. Is everything consistent so far? A yellow one out of place and a green. Please be right, please be right. Ah, look at that. Okay, so the orange doesn't go here. The red doesn't go there. But the red doesn't, look at me being logical. I think the red has to go here. Would you agree with me? Because there is a red in the solution, but it's not in either of those two places, and it's not in that place either. Okay. And the yellow, look at this. The yellow has to be here. By Jove, we're figuring this out. That leaves whom? Green and orange. The oranges don't go here. The orange might be in the right place, which means the green has to go here. Are we ready? Watch for confetti. Well, that was kind of a nothing burger. And also, it messed up my beads. That's not the solution. Executive decision. I'm not going to. This is this cheater's way out. But I'm going to move this somewhere else. Command X. If it's going to be confetti and rain down upon the entire view, it should probably be at the top rather than at the bottom. So I'm going to put it up here. The mastermind button. Command B. Did everybody see what I did just then? I'm going to claim it's trial and error, but it's really avoiding having to figure out all the things that were going wrong with it at the bottom of the picture. Also, I'm going to violate my deeply held principles and change more than one thing at a time. This version predates test mode, so I'm going to allow test mode. Let test mode be a bool, and it's true. I know it's true. And where will that be useful? In the model. Let me find. Does Control F work? No. I shall search for, well, I want to be in the model. I want to search for random because that's where the code is figured out. I know what this video is for. When you get all stressed out and you think, I can't do this, I can't demo this to the class, you go back and you watch this video and you think, well, I could do better than Dr. Engelin. Okay. So, after we set it, let's print it. We'll cheat. Can you read that? Init code. Well, I don't want it to be init, but actually, hey, I didn't mean to get rid of you. Come back, come back. There. Tab, accept it. But it doesn't like it. Did you mean to make this explicit? That's just a warning. I can live with a warning. It's only debug mode anyway. So this way, all that was, and I'm sorry, I should have been explaining every little thing I did. I put a symbolic constant, as you've done in one of your earlier increments. I put a symbolic constant that I can use. It's playing the role of # debug in the way I do my code in C++, where it's like a switch that you can turn on and off to see extra output to help you debug what you're working on. And then you can go into the symbolic constants and set it to false, and all the extra stuff will go away. Where is Xcode itself? Wow. This producing a lot of extra output. I think this is it. 1.5. Does that say 1.521? Okay. Shrink, shrink. Go away. I don't know how I got this to show up over here. There. Let me just test this and see if that does work. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 2, 1. I wonder if that's it. Oh, look, I got it. Now, my animation's back, so I unbroke it. Did you see confetti?
It was up at the top.
I didn't, I missed it. It was so little. That's not much of a reward for all the work I put into to win that game. Let me see if I can find Xcode and run it again. Five, 4, 4, 5. Okay, and it's up here, right, with this? Yeah, that is not much of a reward. It's hardly worth the work. I've lost my confetti cannon. I don't say that very often. Oh, it's not in the model. There it is. Here is where option click comes in handy. Option click on confetti cannon. Can you help us? Look at all the stuff. Rain height, that sounds good. I'm going to set a rain height, and there's all kinds of stuff you can set here. Knock yourself out. Where's something that looks like size?
Confetti size.
The
Above rain
radius.
height.
Oh, confetti size. Confetti size and then rain height. Okay. Let me try those two things and then I'll be done. We'll give it 50. And I don't want.
Typing in on
Hmm?
the wrong spot.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. And the other one was.
Rain height.
Thank you. And I'll go for broke. 2,000. What are you gonna do? Break? Then do.
To
Huh?
the left of rain height.
To the left.
There?
To the left more.
Okay. If they're happy with it, I'm happy with it. And by the way, this is not the demo I hoped it would be. I am powering through, and I am not lucid in my explanations or my thoughts, and I've got every excuse under the sun. I'll go ahead and post this on YouTube, but I'll be ashamed of it, and I'll try the rest of my life to live it down. 2544.
Yeah, you got the right one.
Okay, give us some confetti. 0, 1, 2, 2, 5, 4, 4. Watch for confetti. Oh, that's a lot better. Ta-da! And I think someone of the demos last time had it so that it would repeat in an infinite loop, and they had icons and faces and all that other stuff that were the confetti. So if you can do a lot of experimentation just with confetti and get it. And I do, again, I know I make fun of myself and everything, but I apologize for the quality of this demo. Not just to you, but all of the faceless YouTube audience members out there. I'm sorry. Goodbye.